The next thing that you'll complete in SimNet after you complete the Sim book is the Simpath. And notice over here on the left-hand side that I can filter out all the other tiles, activity tiles on the SimNet home screen, and click on just the particular ones that I want to focus on. And so right now I have Simpath clicked, so that's what is showing on in my screen here. Notice in the Simpath that there are two versions of the Simpath in each chapter. There's one that's labeled simply Simpath, Chapter 1, and the one that's labeled Practice, Chapter 1. The Practice one is something that you can do if you would like some practice before you take the Simpath that's required, or the not practice one. You don't get any credit for completing it, and you don't submit it for grading or anything like that. It's just for practice. And some students find it very helpful, but just make sure that you don't confuse the two, because I can't give you credit for completing a practice one. You need to make sure to complete the one that doesn't have practice in it title, so that you can receive credit for completing the Simpath for the chapter. When I click on the Simpath to get started, it will bring up this screen, and you notice the Simpath is divided into three parts. There's a pre-test portion, a lesson portion, and a post-test portion. And you can't take the lesson and post-test before you have to take the pre-test first. When you click on the pre-test, it'll bring you to the opioid simulation. And basically, this is just a series of activities to help you review what you learned in the Sim book. So it's kind of like a series of let me tries put together. They call it an exam, but it's not like they give you multiple attempts to complete each activity. So this one just says and print the entire workbook. So you notice that you do get 3 attempts. It's not timed at all. So you can go ahead and just start the process. And so I'm going to just click print here, and then print again. And notice that I didn't do it correctly. So I'm going to go back and make sure that I follow the statements. Click the print active sheets and then click print entire workbook. So I'm going to go back again. It'll reload the question. I'm on attempt number 2. I'll go to File and Print. And then I want to make sure that I have print entire workbook selected. So I'm going to click that on the down arrow here. Click print entire workbook, and then click print. Okay, so I answered that correctly. Click OK, and I can go on to the next question. Okay, so now I'm on question 2 of 51. If there's a question that is just not loading right, you've done it several times, again, that glitch that we talked about with the Sim books, you can go on and just skip that question by clicking on this right arrow here to go to the next question. You can also load different questions by clicking here as well. Select the one that you need and then click load question, and it will skip to that particular question. And as with the Sim book, if you have a question that did not load, that did not respond to any of your attempts to answer the question, even though you know it's correct and it still marked you incorrect, this is another instance where you can go to iLearn, put information in the comments section, and as per the video that I have that explains how to do this, and then I will give you a point to restore or give you a point to your Simpath activity score. Okay, so once that's all done, I'm just going to end the exam. Okay, we're going to go back to assignments again here. And then the Simpath. Okay, then it'll have me move on to take the lesson. And then after I take the lesson, then it'll have me take the post-test. The lesson will review anything that you got wrong on the Simpath pre-test. And then the post-test will then ask you additional questions based on what you had to review in the lesson. So it'll be a much smaller exam because mostly you'll get most of the Simpath pre-test correct, only have to review a small portion in the lesson in the post-test. Now, if you got everything correct in the Simpath pre-test, then you're done. You don't have to take a lesson or post-test because Simpath figures you know the material and you don't need to do any more review in the lesson in the post-test. Now, the way I grade the Simpath is I take whichever score is higher from the pre-test or the post-test. If you got an 84% on your pre-test, but 100% on your post-test, then I will take 100% as your Simpath score. And that is how you do the Simpath. And again, make sure to complete the Simpath and not just the practice Simpath so that you can get credit for the Simpath activity.